Welcome back to this week's edition of Smart Counsel for Lunch. Today we're continuing with our Smart Counsel interviews, which happen on a quarterly basis. I'm Leah Kofos. I'm one of the attorneys here at the law firm of Samuel, Sayward, and Baylor in Dedham, Massachusetts, where we focus our practice in the areas of estate planning, probate, elder law, and estate and trust administration. Today, I'm joined by Christina Pavlina, who is the co-founder and executive director of Jane Does Well, a nonprofit organization providing divorce care, support, educational programs to women, single women, and mothers. Thank you for joining us, Christina.
Thank you for having me, Leah. I'm delighted to be here.
Wonderful. We are also delighted to have you. So tell me a little bit about the vision and mission of Jane Does Well.
Jane Does Well's mission, first of all, we're a nonprofit organization that supports around 3,400 women at present in Massachusetts. Our mission is to empower women and single mothers navigating life's most devastating challenges. And we prioritize women's emotional health and well-being by providing her support when experiencing the trauma of domestic abuse or parenting alone or gray divorce or the loss of a partner, so she can reclaim her strength and restore stability in her family and rebuild her life and thrive.
That's fantastic. And you are one of the co-founders of Jane Does Well. What inspired you to start the organization?
Yes. What happened was I went through a divorce process and I found it to be the most isolating, alienating, difficult experiences I've ever had. And I was really looking for support. My world was just upside down and nothing looked familiar to me anymore. And I had one friend who was just about to finish her divorce, and so she became my lifeline. And that support, that emotional support of just knowing that someone understands what you're going through and also sees you, and then also provides hope because she was just about finishing her process. And um, I could see that she was a stronger person than I was, and it gave me the hope that I was going to be stronger. So after that, after I got through my divorce process, I was very tuned in to women who I heard, or a friend of a friend who was going through the process, and I would reach out to them. I would make an effort to reach out and invite them to coffee or lunch, and eventually we had a large enough group where we were having potluck dinners in my home, and we're doing inviting guest speakers, and a local magazine. The editor heard about our group and wanted to write a story, and we didn't have a name. So Jane Does Well was founded by myself and one of the members of this, a group, and we became a nonprofit in 2018. And from there, we've just grown tremendously, and we're doing such amazing work.
That's incredible. And yeah, one of the biggest challenges, for divorcing women is the lack of community or the loss of community. So it's fantastic that you were able to create that, you know, with like-minded people too.
It is, isolation is a health risk,
Hmm.
um, especially people who are going through a very difficult time in a relationship. It's very hard if you don't get the kind of support that you need. And people, they love you and they care for you, but depending on your own situation, it's very hard for them to know exactly how to support you. But people who are understand because they've been through it, it actually adds this kind of extra, I don't know, like an angel in the works, right? Like somebody who's there for you, who understands what you're going through, can see you, and then also help you to get to the place where you feel stable again.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And tell us about the community that you've created. Tell us about your team.
Oh, yes. So we have quite a large team now. Our organization is a member-generated organization. Everyone who works for us has been touched by us in some way. So we have just a couple of paid consultants in some areas that we need, but we all, including psychotherapists, we have psychotherapists on a few of our support groups, but we have a lot of devoted members. We have 20 board members. 95% of volunteer run organization. So we have a good team to support women in many different areas.
Wonderful. And what do you think is the most beneficial piece of the organization? I know that you have a lot of programs that you offer for women, of course, the community, just being all together. But what do you think is the most beneficial part of it?
Group engagement, whether it's on virtual programs or personal gatherings or walking groups, or we have an online forum, it's all meant to achieve what we are all striving for, which is to feel seen and valued and to feel a sense of belonging and community. So we offer more than 45 programs a month. They are emotional support. Um, and well, not all of them, but a lot of them, most of them are emotional support. There's Jane Cares, which is a program that I'm still on twice a week just because I love it so much. But it is a drop-in group that anyone can join. It's an hour and a half, and we validate each other, we support each other, we provide insights. That's twice a week. We have two of the same sort of program as Jane Cares, but for women who have children 0 to 12. And then we must have anywhere from 2 to 3 groups a week of these are structured support groups. So we have trained individuals who are running these groups, and they are limited in time and scope, and they have a little bit of education involved. You read a book, and they're run by an ordained minister who now is trauma certified, but she does this amazing um, ritual that really does provide that kind of connection in a real way where women are talking to each other, validating each other, and they become very bonded. And
Mhm.
these groups tend to become our board members, to be honest, because they have now formed such a strong bond to our organization and bond to each other. And they often will come up with other groups that they would like to see. For example, we have Silver Linings Group, which is a group for women who are 60 plus, and they get together and they form their own agenda and they decide on what it is they want to talk about. And then we have other members who offer meditation groups, yoga. We do a lot of parent coaching with a child therapist. For example, Newton Wellesley Hospital provides um, child psychiatrists to Jane does well to do some parent coaching, give us insights out of how to best support our children going through difficult life changes, not only the life change for their mother, but also for their whole family.
Yeah.
That's, a few of the ways that we support each other emotionally. And then there's the educational component where we provide financial workshops, legal workshops, um, you know, divorce coaches, career coaches. So we're anything that we can put on our program, we will.
Yes, and I know that we had talked about this before a little bit, but a lot of people think that during the divorce process, you get divorced, you get that order from the court, and you're done. But you're
Mhm.
not. There's so much support that you can seek out afterwards, and there's so much knowledge that you can seek out after that, official divorce is over, or granted, I should say. It's fantastic that you've kind of created this group. Um,
Hmm.
for people who don't even necessarily know what the next step is, right? A lot of people are just emotionally exhausted going through this process, and for you to hold their hand and take them through it is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we feel so strongly that women shouldn't go through a divorce alone. So we want to be there with them and help them, get to the other side as quickly and as well as possible. And then you're right. After that, then what? Right? How do you build a life now? It's what the hard thing about divorce or any sort of situation where you're losing your relationship is that oftentimes you lose more than that. You lose the other family that was your family. You lose friends. So the really important piece to remember is you have to engage. I know it's hard, but you have to engage with others so they can support them. Give them permission to support you by showing up. And I think you'll find, I mean, we find that women will show up for strangers in a way that you can never imagine. And it's because we're here. That's what women do. We love to support each other and we want to take care of each other. When we feel a sisterhood.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, are you able to share any standout stories or memories from your time with Jane Does Well?
Well, the thing that stands out to me the most is that 10 years ago, we wanted to put together an event to celebrate some of the women that we have seen going through this difficult process and really celebrate their finishing their divorce and also like seeing we want people to see how you can grow. And so we identified 4 women that we saw them at just the worst possible place. They weren't handling it well, but they stuck with our meetings and they kept coming. And so we would call them women of courage. We'd say, "You're a woman of courage. Look what you've done. I can't believe how happy you are, how fulfilled you are at this point." So we created an event called Women of Courage, and this will be our 10th anniversary this April. And we nominate 4 women, and they get to tell their story. And they get to tell, it's like a redefining moment, right? They get in a crowded ballroom, they get to be panelists, and they're going to tell us how they felt and all those little nuggets of what they did to get to from A to B. What are the little insights? What are the things that surprised them?
Mm.
And how do they feel about themselves now? And what would they say to their former self? And that achievement, you can it's glowing and it's such a feel-good moment. We celebrate them, we're clapping, we're laughing with them, and it just feels like it's really a culmination of the blood, sweat, and tears to get to that point. And I think that's a standout story. One of the women that we supported a couple years ago, and she was our Women of Courage, she was in a lot of financial difficulty and a very high conflict divorce. And she joined one of our WOW groups, and her WOW sisters just embraced her. And they told me that she had a situation where she has a very disabled child and she has a special minivan for the child. And she did not have money for tires to get to her daughter's medical appointments. And her tires blew out on the side of the road and she was distressed. And her sisters came to myself and we put together a gift to purchase 4 tires for her minivan that she can know that she can reliably get her daughter to these doctor's appointments. So it really takes a village, and I feel like these are the stories that I always want to remember that are just so heartwarming.
That's fantastic. That's just, it's, yeah, like you said, it's very heartwarming. And I think that it goes to show the type of community that you've built, that you've had a hand in building. Um, if anyone listening out there is interested in joining and being part of this Jane Does Well community, how should they get started?
It's really easy. It's www.janedoeswell.org and you click to join. When you join, you will receive an invitation to a new member coffee and to Jane Cares, which is programs that I'm on those programs. And you will find out how to sign up to all of our programs and also belong to our Facebook group and so forth. So you'll definitely be welcomed in a very warm and loving way.
Wonderful. And we will also include that link to the website with this video so that people don't have to type it in. They can just click to it. Um, Christina, thank you so much for joining. Any final thoughts to share?
Well, I want to thank you, Leah, for recognizing the work that we do. It's hard to have a mission where you are looking for support for women um, going through these difficult changes because it's not necessarily something that everyone understands the need. Unless you're in it, you may not understand it. So, but the final thought is the work we do affects generations. If you have a mother that's in crisis, that will affect their children and it goes to the next generation, right? So we know that
Mhm.
your childhood trauma it informs who you are later in life. So the importance, the importance of supporting women who are let's face it, our caregivers, right? Our society's caregivers is the most important work you could ever get involved in.
Yeah. And I think it's also, being able to see your mother as a child, being able to see your mother uh, exhibit that strength, to come from a really difficult place and heal and become this really, self-actualized person again, and really discover different parts of themselves too. I think, that's one of the most amazing parts of your organization, that's really helping people get to that point.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's very rewarding, and you're
Yeah.
right. I love
Yeah.
it. I love seeing that
Yep.
growth.
Yep, yep. So thank you again so much for taking time out of your day and joining me. I know that our viewers are going to really, really appreciate you and the time that you took to come speak with me today.
Well, thank you so much, Leah. It's such a pleasure, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course, of course. All right. So until next time, take care.